a good blast here, you said.
Welcome to Hokey Religion, the Star Wars podcast. This episode brought to you by Cold Medicine. You don't have to be sick for it to make you feel good inside. This episode, we're going to talk about the Star Wars movies and how Bob Iger said a thing. This is Tyler.
This is Michael.
Welcome back to episode 59.
Hey, really happy to be here to talk about the Star Wars movies.
We're finally going to
With
do
you.
it. It's this episode, we're going to talk about the Star Wars movies.
Yes,
It's never been done.
A long time coming. We are going to spend the entire episode talking about Star Wars, the movie.
Yep, this is the one.
This
So
is it.
I'm jacked up on cold medicines, so disregard most of the things I say.
I'm jacked off on cold medicine.
Was that before or after I took it?
My son earlier today, I was showing him a YouTube video for, it was a guy that was cutting water bottles with a katana. But they were doing it in slow motion.
As you
It was-
find on YouTube.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know. But they were doing it in slow motion, so it looked pretty cool. But he, YouTubers do that typical thing. Hey guys, blah, blah, blah,
Hey,
blah.
this is Jim John
Yeah.
29 here, and I'm gonna slice and dice. Like and subscribe.
One day when I was in preschool,
Yeah.
they go on for 5 minutes before they actually do the thing that you came to see. And bro, you were sitting through the talking part. He's got a completely straight face, staring at the screen, and he just shouts out, "Just do it already!"
He is definitely your son.
So yes, I was very proud of him in that moment. That he had no patience for bullshit.
I actually saw a thing the other day that I think it was like the first 5 minutes of anything on YouTube can be skipped and you won't miss any content.
Except Star Wars.
Except for this show, don't do that now. This is the good part.
We are 2 minutes in.
Yeah, see what you could have missed if you had skipped ahead?
Oh, no.
So,
No.
as of right now, if you go to Disney where there's a Star Tours, you can ride the ride and ride Star Tours because that's available, and it will now have the scene from Crait in it. So go do that
As of when?
right now, as of when
Oh.
they're listening to this.
Yes, right now.
yes.
This time. So,
It's-
yes.
it was added on Friday the 17th. Of course, we record these episodes before they're
Wait,
released.
wait,
We record these at a time, and I'm definitely going to write it sometime soon.
What are your impressions of it so far? How was it?
Dirt!
Uh,
Crait Has Dirt.
oh,
Yeah, so it's going to be Jakku followed by Crait. That's going to be what's going to run for a while now.
the same one, the same Jakku one that they've had for
Yes.
a while, right?
And apparently it was very confusing for writers to have scenes from the old trilogy and the new trilogy and the prequel trilogy. So they're now, instead of it just being random scenes,
Yeah.
if it's something from the original trilogy, the second scene will also be from the original trilogy.
Yeah.
They're not going to mix and match characters from timelines because apparently that was confusing people.
It bothered me.
Really? Did it?
Yeah.
Like
it
when
didn't bother you?
Like when it would start with Darth Vader and then end with like a battle droid or something?
Yeah, that bothered me.
Really?
Yeah.
It was whatever. It was Star Wars everywhere.
There were some that
I guess
maybe could have worked together, but
enough of people like us complained that they finally decided to separate them out.
did they switch? Was it always we found a rebel on board, or we found
They
like
always
somebody
do
from the
that.
Resistance on board?
Oh, they're going to, depending on which one they show, which timeline they show, they'll say Rebel or Resistance.
Oh.
Yeah, I was reading that earlier today. So go write it and see Crait on the screen prior to seeing it on the other screen
Yes.
next month.
Analyze it.
Yeah, I'm sure
For
there's nothing there to
details
get out of it
about-
other than it being super fun and cool. Because that's still one of my favorite rides at Disney.
Star Tours.
Always will be. It's very nostalgic.
It's
I'm-
good.
I'm just sad they got rid of the intro video when you're waiting in line about getting on the ride and buckling your seatbelts and all like the old characters and things that would show in the
Huh?
video. You know the pre-roll video where you're like waiting in line to get on, like waiting right at the thing to get in.
Yeah, it's that droid now.
Yeah, it's not. I liked the old one where it was.
I don't
like,
remember what the old one was.
There was like Wookiees and Ewoks getting on the ride and sitting down and buckling up, and
They have that in the new one too, don't they? Isn't
yeah,
there
but
a
it was super old and cheesy and was
Oh.
really good, and I missed that.
Did the Ewoks blink? Do you remember?
No, of course not. Why would they ever do that?
You
Michael?
don't remember, or
No.
they didn't blink?
They definitely didn't blink because that video was from like the 90s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Speaking of
the 90s,
blink and blinking Ewoks,
sure.
apparently Disney was in talks a little while ago to buy 20th
Century Fox.
It's 21st century now, isn't it?
That would have been in Futurama.
Huh?
Futurama had 21st Century Fox, I'm pretty sure.
We're in the 21st century.
Pretty sure it's 20th Century Fox. Anyways, they're
in talk to buy Fox.
Like within
Studios.
the last couple of weeks, they were actively talking to acquire part of 20th Century Fox, which would not including like their sports, Fox Sports or anything like that, because they would with Disney having ESPN, that was too much. But specifically with like films and some of the television outlets they own. And the reason that is a big deal is one, that's one more giant thing Disney would own almost all of the media regarding. X-Men would fall under Disney. And the company that owns A New Hope in perpetuity is Fox.
Yes.
So
oh well, not speaking of blinking Ewoks. I was thinking for some reason they
no, just A New Hope.
Yeah, it's just the New Hope.
But it has been assumed one of the reasons we don't have an original trilogy re-release is because Fox still owns the rights, and they do own the rights to A New Hope in perpetuity until those rights are passed on to anyone else. So that's rumored to be a reason we've never gotten an original trilogy re-release is because of those Fox rights, and either them not wanting to play well with them or otherwise.
Right.
So that could be a really huge deal if right now the talks have stalled. Because once it hit the news, like the moment it hit the news, they're like, "Oh, talks have stalled." And they were like, "Oh, we should maybe think about this and not be so out there about it."
Okay, 21st Century Fox is
21st Century Fox,
a multimedia corporation. Used to be called Fox Group.
Oh.
And then 20th Century Fox is a film studio.
Okay.
Somehow 21st Century Fox owns 20th Century Fox.
Yes.
That's
why I was thinking before Star Wars, it was the 20th Century Fox logo that would come up.
But it's 21st Century Fox is the company.
Make it so damn confusing.
I don't know why it's happening like that.
So I would like for that to go through, if for any other reason than the fact that we would hopefully get a re-release of the trilogy. And we've talked about this before. I don't think we would.
The original
George
series?
Yes.
Special, not special?
Not special.
What am I trying to say?
The special one that is not been over-specialized.
Oh.
Apparently, the rumor was that George Lucas had... it apparently was mandated that the original cuts of film before the special editions were to be destroyed. And we discussed this like many, many, many episodes
ago. We never understood why.
Because those are not the perfect version. His latest versions are what he wanted, and
the perfect versions.
So they were to be destroyed. But I mean, from collectors and things like that, an original cut has to exist. If the studio doesn't have one, there's got to be one out there. And I think it would behoove Disney, if they owned Fox, to release an original trilogy.
Did they ever release a statement after they bought Lucasfilm talking about this, about the original footage? Did they ever?
It's been asked, I think, even recently of Kathleen about re-releasing the original trilogy, and I think she's just kind of always laughed it off.
Did she, or did she say? I thought I remember her saying something specifically about Fox, like they would like to do it, but there's the issue of Fox owning the rights, or was that?
I think that may have been mentioned like way back when the purchase first happened.
Okay.
But again, it would be interesting if those cuts, if the originals even exist, if they were to be destroyed. And I know a collector or somebody has it.
Yeah.
If the studio doesn't, but it would be interesting to see if they would actually release that. I think it would only make sense for them to do so. So,
can you imagine how much money that would make?
Everyone would buy it, right? I don't. everyone has asked for it and everyone would buy it. Like it's of all the things that Disney keeps releasing versions of, and they have a vault for their cartoon movies so that they can release them every few years and make money off of them one more time. I think that if anyone would release something again, it would be Disney. Now, so this kind of leads to another topic of Disney is going to start a new streaming service. They're pulling all their content off of Netflix and other streaming services, and they're starting their own. So the Star Wars movies and Marvel stuff will be on there. Will A New Hope be on there?
Yeah.
On Disney's streaming service?
I think so, yeah.
If Fox owns the rights in perpetuity?
Distribution rights? What do they own about it?
I wonder. That even gets me thinking about I didn't even think about this. If they're pulling content from Netflix to have their own streaming service, what happens with the Netflix Marvel shows?
They all go over to Disney.
Like Jessica Jones and all of that is
pretty sure.
Disney?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Because that was in collaboration with Netflix Studios.
Those are Netflix shows?
Those are like branded Netflix Marvel shows, yeah. It was a deal with Netflix
to
make
that's
those
a good
shows.
point. Huh. I know they mentioned...
And they still have like all of the shows, Jessica Jones and Luke Cage, and like all of them are getting another season.
I know they mentioned new Marvel shows being developed for this platform.
I wonder if they'll finish out the ones they started with Netflix and then start something else. Because they're developing.
What do you mean finish out? I don't know what you mean.
Like Jessica Jones and Luke Cage and Daredevil, they're all getting more seasons. Already. They've already been greenlit for more seasons. And the Disney streaming service is to start in 2019, which obviously that's that'll be when some of those seasons will get released. But I'm pretty sure that deal was specific to Netflix.
Okay, so here's something interesting. Going back to 20th Century Fox, they own. It just says the rights in this article, so I don't know.
I think they own full rights to A New Hope in perpetuity.
Yes. So yes. And then the prequels, episodes 1 through 3 and 5 and 6 through May 2020. So before this streaming service even comes out, they're still going to own the rights for every Star Wars movie, or for the originals.
That's why we don't have any of those on any streaming service right now.
Yes, you have to buy those. No, you can buy.
Well, I'm talking about
streaming,
like Netflix,
as in like you have to
Netflix
actually buy
that.
Yeah,
you have to stream it from Google Play or iTunes.
Yeah, you have to buy the movies, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
which, they have
think
the prequels and 5 and 6 until 2020,
right?
And then those will lapse, and Disney, those will fall under Disney.
I assume,
right?
Yeah.
But New Hope they have in perpetuity. There's nothing stopping them from having the full rights to that unless they sell it or
Disney buys them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think those movies are going to show up on. Which I guess, like you said, it's not going to be any different than what's going on now because they've never shown up on a streaming service.
Yeah.
Before.
Sadly.
I don't know about
the Netflix.
I thought
shows.
Because they were mentioning, they called out doing a new Marvel show on this new streaming service once it starts. I thought that meant the other shows would go too, but that's a good point. Probably not.
Yeah,
because you're right. It's a Netflix produced show. All of these are.
This was back in August. Apparently, Netflix was in talks with Disney to keep streaming rights to Marvel and Star Wars movies, at least the movies.
Well, but that got canned though, didn't it? Because at least the Star Wars part of that.
By the end of 2019, Netflix will stop carrying Disney, Marvel, and Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
Right.
So they were looking to extend that past 2019, but
Netflix is also perfectly within its rights to keep partnering with Marvel Television to develop new shows.
Interesting.
That's on Forbes. So
I wonder how that works with the new Marvel show.
Yeah, I don't know how those rights work because it's a deal between Marvel and Netflix.
Yeah.
But Disney owns Marvel.
Right.
And the movies are getting pulled. I don't know how the rights work for them to.
What Marvel movies are on Netflix right now?
Um,
Civil War was on there for a
all of
little
them,
while.
like all of them, go for like a run for a while. I think Spider-Man: Homecoming is going there. I think Thor: Ragnarok is supposed to be
Really? On Netflix?
on Netflix.
Huh.
Because the Disney deal was all theatrical releases will be a part of would go to Netflix after release.
Yeah.
And so apparently everything released through the end of next year is still part of that deal. So that includes Spider-Man and Thor. And then 2018's Black Panther, Ant-Man and the Wasp, and Avengers Infinity War. And Last Jedi and Han Solo. So everything released in 2018 is still to be...
It's still eligible to show up on Netflix at some point?
Yes, until the end of 2019. That deal still exists until the end of 2019.
So you could end up seeing some of those movies show up sometime in 2019, maybe?
Yeah. Okay,
And
so
just
the
be there for
Disney
a little while?
theatrical distribution deal and the Marvel television development deal are two separate things. The original Disney distribution deal with Netflix, in a nutshell, gave Netflix exclusive streaming rights for all of Disney's theatrical releases,
Yeah.
along with Disney-owned and produced television shows.
Right.
Disney-owned and Disney-produced television shows.
Oh.
But the Marvel shows on Netflix are produced by Netflix, and so belong to Netflix as much as Marvel. So they're not Disney produced. They are working with Marvel but producing them as Netflix shows.
Hmm.
So there's a different deal with Netflix to produce Marvel TV shows.
Okay. Interesting.
I wonder how long that deal...
Well, then what's
to
up with the
last.
new Marvel show that they mentioned? What does that fall under? That's not a Disney show.
Did they say if it was be live action or cartoon?
It's live action.
Is it something stupid like that X-Men, like The Gifted?
The Gifted. Oh,
TV
that
show.
is that that. What was that movie you were telling me about the other day? The new X-Men movie that
Oh,
was
it's like
branded as
X-Men
like a horror
7.
movie.
Yeah,
Remember what that was called?
The New Mutants.
Yeah,
It's
that's a movie, right?
it's
Not a
movie.
TV show.
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
movie. So yeah, well, there we go. We learned something. Netflix is fully within the rights to continue producing Marvel TV shows because they're producing it, not Disney. If it's produced by Disney, it will go on Disney's streaming service. Speaking of producing television shows, with some recent announcements from Bob Iger, there's going to be a Disney produced live action Star Wars television show. And that is awesome, which we've been talking about for the last year on the show.
Yeah.
And it is
I was
finally...
distracted because my laptop started playing sound that the stream just heard.
So,
What were you saying?
TV shows.
What about
There's
them?
going to be a Disney-produced live-action Star Wars TV show.
Yes.
That is
Yes!
going to happen sometime eventually to be put on the Disney streaming service, which of course that doesn't start until 2019, so we probably won't have the show until the 2020 or 2021.
Did they say did they say the setting or anything for this
Nothing.
new TV show?
Just that
It was
there would
just
be a
a
live
live
action
action TV show. Yeah.
They really said nothing else about it.
Which we have
Dates,
been
nothing.
talking about for a very long time.
Yes.
I feel like since the beginning of this podcast, we've been talking about
They should make a... Well,
How
first I was like, they
we
should
should
make a
have-
TV show on Netflix just like the Marvel ones.
yes.
Well, now they're going to make their own on their Disney streaming, which, as excited as I am for that, Netflix has done a very good job with the Marvel shows. This will not be Netflix producing this show. This will be Disney producing this show.
Interesting.
Will it be Star Wars High School Musical? Will it be the Star Wars? Will it be like the Disney movies that we see on the Disney Channel or the Disney TV shows that we see on the Disney Channel? Or will it be an adult focused or a upper teens, young adult focused TV show?
Okay, so last episode we talked about all of this. We talked about this is before. So last episode came out before all of this news dropped.
Disney heard it. Bob had his quarterly
We all
call and announced it because he knew we were right.
the whole episode we talked about what would a new trilogy look like. We talked a little bit about how a TV show, a great idea for it would be like the underworld or the story for 1313 or even the new visual game story. Yeah, we talked about all of that. So Now I forget where I was going with that.
So
what are you saying?
What I was
What was I
saying
gonna
is,
say?
so now, before I was like, Netflix does so well with the Marvel shows. I want them to make a Star Wars show. But now this is Disney producing a Star Wars show on
Oh.
Disney's streaming service.
Yes, I was gonna say, if they do end up doing some kind of
Child's show.
yes, what's his name from Rebels? Dave Filoni has not announced his next project.
Correct.
And we did talk. I think we talked about this last episode. Do you think he would come on?
For live action.
Yeah, to do this.
I
And if so,
no, because doesn't he works for Star Wars now as their animation creative director, correct?
animation specifically,
Think so.
really?
I'd have
That
to look
sounds
up.
familiar. That's probably true.
Or it could have just been television creative director.
I was just thinking maybe that would kind of dictate the tone of the show because he's kind of been in that whole
He oversees all of
children's-
Lucasfilm animation projects.
Okay. Well, never mind about that then. I was gonna say that might dictate because that's all he's really been doing for the last many years now.
Yeah.
It's kind of kids TV basically.
Yeah. And the other shows, Disney announced that there's going to be a Monsters Inc. TV show and a High School Musical TV show that are going to
Yeah.
be created for the streaming service. So
This article I'm reading says the Star Wars series will be joined by 3 other live action shows based on Disney properties. One will
Monsters,
be
Inc.
Marvel.
Okay.
The other will be Monsters Inc.
I don't think that one's a live action one. I picture like just really shitty costumes, like just really bad Halloween costumes,
Like Halloween pop-up
like
store
where
costumes.
you see the guy's face through like the mesh netting where his like head is and his throat, like it down in the lower body
Yeah.
of the really tall guy.
With those a face of the dead eyes, dead
Yeah,
plastic
just, like,
eyes.
wobbling around, like googly eyes, just bobbling back and forth. Yeah, like a really bad like preschool play.
Mike Wazowski is just a very small man rolled up in a ball.
Just painted green, just in one of those green bodysuits.
Yeah.
Hopefully that one's not live action. So with those other things being announced and a Marvel one being announced, I was excited about a Star Wars TV show. I am excited about a live action Star Wars TV show.
Yeah.
But we have to remember that it's not Netflix producing it. Will this be a Disney Channel Star Wars live action TV show, if you get my meaning?
I think if this had been announced any other way, then yes. But I think because it's their own streaming service now and they need a wider
Disney doesn't make adult TV shows.
I don't know. I mean, if
They haven't. I mean, not.
if they're creating a new,
They make teen and they have, upper teens.
my gut says they would want more varied content on the streaming service. So yes, they would maybe.
Yeah, because I mean, their Marvel movies are going to be on there. Their Star Wars movies are going to be on there. They will
But-
have adult-centered movies on there.
But do you think even the Marvel show, the new Marvel show, could compare to what they've been doing on the Netflix shows? Like the tone of those shows.
I
It's the
think
same thing with
Marvel
this-
show will be a lighter, teen-focused.
It's the same thing with this Star Wars deal.
Like I think like Young Justice type of Marvel, like something like that, where it's a teen Marvel something. Because they don't have one of those.
See,
That's
that-
not out there.
that kind of sucks.
Yes, but then I start thinking about Star Wars, and are we going to get a teen live action Star Wars show, or it's like Star Wars that's
Star
a
Wars
Raven?
Riverdale, basically. Is that what
Or
you're
that,
talking?
yeah, maybe Star Wars Riverdale, or I don't want like Star Wars. I want a Star Wars sitcom, I really do, but I don't want Star Wars That's So Raven.
Right.
To
yeah.
super like
As
to
the
totally date
first-
myself of whatever Disney live action show I can name because I can't think of any current live action Disney TV show.
Yeah, now it's like, I don't know.
Super bin.
Zach's
The
pigtail
Thundermans.
hour. I don't know.
Is the Thundermans on Disney or is that
that Nickelodeon?
It might be Nickelodeon.
Does Nickelodeon do live action stuff?
Yeah, they still do.
Yeah.
So that's what I picture when I think of a Disney TV show is like Disney Channel at like 4 p.m. When you turn it on, what live action TV show do you see? Like that's the Disney TV shows that currently
Yeah.
exist. They don't have they barely dip into the upper teens like genre of TV shows. It's like pretty well mid-teens to tweens.
They're barely dipping into those upper teens.
Well, if you're gonna dip in something, make sure it's upper teens, all the way up,
All the way.
right at the top.
Right? You go up and then you go out. And then it's okay.
So it's hard. So I am slightly concerned that it will be a crappy Disney middle of the day TV show.
Yeah. After school kind of, 3
Yes,
p.m.
with an episodic lesson.
where they live in a hotel.
Sure. Star Wars, Zack and Cody. It's and Coruscant. I'd probably still watch that.
Would you? So would you still watch it if it really was
Just
a Zack and
skinned
Cody
version of Zack and Cody?
but like set like the background and all of the world building and stuff is legit, like Star Wars, very thought out, very
So they've
detailed.
done various Zack and Codys. They've done the Zack and Cody show. They've done the Zack and Cody on a cruise ship. They've done another Zack and Cody show. As they've grown up, they just keep doing Zack and Cody doing things in a hotel type show.
So now it's actually Zack and Cody
I
on
want it to
Coruscant.
be the same exact kids, but on Coruscant in a Star Wars building. Nothing else about the show is different except for that it's set in Star Wars, and sometimes there's droids.
And there's like aliens walking around and stuff.
But otherwise, same format. Nothing different. Episodic. There's goofs. There's a lesson. They love their mother. And they just run around. But now they're like 20-something. But they're still just doing nothing in this building.
There's that blonde girl that everybody liked.
It's Ashley Tisdale, I think.
Yeah, that disappeared. Was that her name?
I even want the building. Maybe they just named it's the same hotel. It's just aged through eternity. Or backwards, I guess. This was Zack and Cody's great, because it's a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. It's just they're super great grandparents, whatever, but they're in their 20s doing nothing in a hotel on a Star Wars planet. That's the show. I'm calling it now.
I would watch that.
Yeah, probably. So that's my concern.
Ashley Tisdale grew up. All right, well, that's enough
Stop
of that.
looking. That's for later. So my concern is it going to be that kind of Disney show, or is Disney actually going to make an adult, like a mature TV show? Trying to think if
You almost said 70s.
No, I was thinking I was
a 70s adult show.
Old grainy porn.
In between cable channels show.
No, so will it be like rated M for mature, like that type of television show, which Disney does not make? Will they actually, because that'll be the first thing that Disney will produce as a live action TV show, most likely, that could be rated that way. The Marvel one and the Star Wars one.
Yeah.
Because Monsters Inc.'s not going to be mature, and High School Musical hopefully is not mature because
Well,
it's still
which
high
one do you-
school.
Which it's true. Gritty high school.
Dirty high school.
Which one do you think has more potential to be a more gritty, dark, Netflixy type show?
Star Wars.
You think so?
Well,
of the two?
Well,
I
here's my thought
Marvel.
with that is because they already have that with Marvel, Disney's going to try to open up Marvel TV shows to another audience.
See, I think it's the opposite. I think they have a reputation with Marvel that they have to keep up. That people are going to expect that.
But I don't know if
from
they're
this
going
new
to.
show.
But I think the problem is especially with production companies, they're going to have a direct comparison to what they're making, and they probably don't want that. They probably want to do something new.
I don't know what you mean. What do you mean?
Like we can directly, whatever they make, if it is a gritty Marvel show, we can directly compare it to Netflix and say this sucks because it's not like this. That's already been made and it's better.
Yes.
I think they are going to do something new that cannot be compared to anything else
Oh, I
because
see
then
what
it
you
will
mean.
make money and no one can compare
I don't know.
or
Maybe.
put it down. And there's other than do they even make Marvel cartoons anymore? Other than movies, are there any Marvel cartoon television shows?
I don't know. The ones I've seen
Not active ones that I know of. So the
ones that I've seen are like,
as far as I
G.I. Joe,
can think, other than
after-school
the
stuff.
Marvel films, there's not a Marvel young adult TV show.
Yeah.
Other than stuff on
maybe.
CW, which I don't count as television.
Well, that's
Arrow, And
That's all DC. That's
Oh, I guess Arrow is DC.
CW is all
what's the
DC
Gifted?
stuff.
What channel's the Gifted on? That's the X-Men thing. Is it Fox? Well, Fox owns X-Men, so yes, if it's an X-Men thing, then yeah, it's gonna be on Fox or FX or
it's Fox.
Fox Plus. They have whatever their channels are.
Fox Plus.
They have FXX. So I don't think, other than the Gifted, which I think is young adult / maybe a little older of a television show for Marvel, I think there's an untapped market of having a live action young adult Marvel show, like the CW shows, which I don't know if the Gifted is as young adult as the CW shows are.
Well, there's this.
I mean, we're getting stuck on Marvel while talking about the new Star Wars TV show.
There's a new Marvel show called Runaways, premiering in November.
Okay.
Actually, looks like next week. So when this episode will come
on
21st, November 21st.
What?
On Hulu.
On Hulu.
And it's about a
odd.
Apparently there was I don't know Marvel comics that well. I know DC stuff better, but there was a comic series called Runaways. Okay. This is based on that series, but it's a teen kid on there. So I don't know. That seems to have a potential to be more of a teeny.
I don't know. I could just see Disney going that way with
not
Marvel.
as dark TV show.
I could see them going that way with Marvel more so than going that way with Star Wars. I would hope that Star Wars would be a more mature.
See, I don't know. I don't.
So. I mean, they have this streaming platform.
I mean, I know what we want. We've talked about it before.
So they're going to have this streaming platform, which they've said it's going to be cost less than Netflix because they're going to have less content. So they're going to price it appropriately for that. So it'll be sub $10, hopefully like $6 to $8, maybe. Probably that $7.99 range, like CBS and other stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, when it starts, it's going to have the Disney backlog of Disney movies. It's going to have Marvel movies and the Star Wars movies. And
Disney TV shows, I would assume,
TV shows,
like Rebels.
So a lot of the buy-in on that is going to be parents for their children because they can no longer stream movies for their children on Netflix. So they're going to pay for this so they can stream the TV shows and stuff they were watching on Netflix for their children now on this.
Probably.
So a large part of the buy-in is going to be parents for children.
See, that's why I'm thinking Star Wars is not going to be.
So will the shows that are developed for this still be children focused or young adult focused?
I don't know. I would like to think, like I said, you could say that there's a reputation to uphold with Marvel shows. I get your point. They will probably end up doing more of a, like you said, an after school special kind of Marvel thing. And I think they might end up going that route for Star Wars too.
And I mean, the Star
Wars
stuff,
about the Star Wars TV shows we've had so far. It's been all that.
But I mean, Clone Wars got dark and was good. Clone Wars was good.
Yeah.
Rebels has gotten dark. It's not not good. I never thought it was that great.
There's a whole final season that we haven't seen.
But
yet.
it's gotten darker and more. It's grown up from where it started. Just like Clone Wars did.
Rebels?
Did. Yeah. It has.
I don't know. Not in the way
the
Clone
themes
Wars
and the
did.
tone has grown up from where it started.
That's still so pointless, though.
Well, yes, but someone out there likes it. And Clone Wars, like it got dark and it got a little heavier with its arcs, and it grew up. So they can do. It's not that young adult stuff can't be enjoyable. Don't take that clip out of context. It's not that young adult television shows cannot be enjoyable.
There we go.
That it's just, I hope that they don't go like, it's just a thing set in Star Wars and here's a show, which I don't think they would do, especially with having their story group.
Yeah.
I would imagine them doing something because one, as much as they hate it, as much as Disney and Pablo and everyone hates it, it will be canonical because it's a new media thing that's happening.
Well, you could say that for Rebels too. Rebels has, and it's all canon, and they've had multiple major characters show up in there, and they've had events in Rebels tied to other things like the Thrawn stuff and references to Rogue One, with Saw coming back and all that junk. But the tone of that show is still not so serious and
But it's also
good.
it's also an animation project. Like it's not
Yeah, I mean,
it's not live action, which I think.
so would you say a show like, well, you mentioned CW shows like Gotham. I wouldn't consider that necessarily an adult show.
It's a young
Would
adult.
you?
It's a teen show. I would say. Well, it's an upper teen show. I would say
Upper teens.
the people that watch. There's like the age range that watches that is like 13 to 18, and then like 40 to like
Yeah.
60. Because there's that weird like adult, like the adults that watch the Marvel or DC shows and they have no idea what's going on. It's just a weird, cool cop show or whatever. And then there's like the teens who are like, this is cool.
These are some weird cops.
Exactly. Why is that man a penguin? Who's this guy with all the questions?
Why is he asking so many questions?
Yeah.
What weird police?
Where's the
officer?
Batman? Damn it. Yeah. So
They just think the Batman is a police officer.
probably Officer Batman. There he is. So I think just like anything on like CBS or whatever, there's that weird range of like there's like older teens that watch it, and then like our parents that watch it, and then everyone in between watches like the good stuff on Netflix.
I don't know about older teens watching it.
Maybe
seems like it's marketed
the stuff on
towards-
CW definitely.
It seems like it's marketed towards older
The stuff
teens.
on CW is definitely young adults.
Is it? I'd say it's just
It's-
old people because it's just bad, I guess. I don't know.
But no, but I mean, it is made for young adults. It's like I'm talking like,
yeah,
you know,
I
like
guess it seems like it anyway.
14 to 22. Like I would say that's
Yeah.
probably what it's marketed towards and made for.
Yeah,
Not necessarily the demographic that watches it, but I think that's what it's marketed and geared
Yeah.
towards.
it seems like it.
So I could see a Star Wars show going that way, but
Yeah.
it'd be really cool if they made like a full on like mature adult Star Wars show
Yeah.
with, I don't know, anything that's not just episodic.
Anything.
Just
give us anything.
I just don't want it to end up being a Disney television show that's like episodic where like nothing matters.
Yeah, the arcs get resolved in one episode, and it's all gets tied up at the end.
As much as I don't like
and-
Rebels, at least it has arcs and things are happening. I don't care about the things that are happening, but things are happening. I just don't want it to be like
Yeah,
a
I
Disney
guess.
Channel TV show where it's just like, yeah, Raven got in some trouble this week. See you next week when nothing that just happened mattered. Just like any episode of Family Guy where it's like somebody's dead at the end of one episode and
Oh,
they're just
they're
fine the next
fine.
one. Yeah. And they make fun of that, and obviously in Family Guy, but I don't want it to be something that's that trivial. I would like it to be,
Right.
and I think Disney would do that. Disney does not have a track record of live action television shows that are not things on the Disney Channel.
Did you say a tracked record?
A track record.
Okay.
Well, some of the stuff shit, so maybe it is a tracked record.
What's your tracked record?
2 feet.
Good. Okay, great.
Good.
No further,
No further
context needed.
All right. In addition to the television show being announced, there was a gigantic announcement of Rian Johnson being on the hook for a new Star Wars trilogy.
Yay!
He is officially contractually obligated to make a Star Wars trilogy because they had so much fun working with him on The Last Jedi that they
You know what it is? He's
Mhm.
a yes man for Disney. That's why.
don't be Reddit. So apparently they had so much fun with him on making The Last Jedi that they had talks, and he's now going to make a new Star Wars trilogy that apparently is going to focus on something that has never been covered in Star Wars before, in a new part of the galaxy with new characters, in a new location. That's interesting.
Okay, so the actual quote was, "This is where you pull up the actual quote because I don't have it."
All right. So watching, Kathleen was saying, or I think it was Kathleen saying, we all love working with Rian Johnson on The Last Jedi. He's a creative force, and watching him craft The Last Jedi from start to finish was one of the greatest joys of my career. Rian will do amazing things with the blank canvas of this new trilogy.
The Bob Iger quote.
Yes, and so I'm trying to find what it was in that. I I can't find the exact quote. But I'm pretty sure I have it almost exactly spot on. Is that it is going to be in a new part of the galaxy with new characters, that with something that's never been covered before in Star Wars, which is interesting. In that, how do we take that? Do we take it that it's not been covered in Star Wars before, as in the EU never existed because we canned all that, so it's something that may have been covered in the EU, but now we're covering it for the, quote, first time in the real canon? Or is this legitimately something brand new that's never been, that Ryan is coming up with
All right.
outside of the EU?
Here's the actual quote. I found
Go for
it. In shepherding, this is Bob Iger speaking here. In shepherding this new trilogy, which is separate from the episodic Skywalker saga, Johnson will introduce new characters from a corner of the galaxy that Star Wars lore has never before explored. Okay.
Corner of the galaxy that's never before
So,
explored.
take that and then take the quote from Kennedy a little while ago talking about how
They were looking at the next 10 years
of Star Wars, yes.
and going forward with these new characters of Rey and Finn and Poe and BB-8.
Yes, she was saying something along the lines of these characters will appear in the next
that was the gist.
10 years of Star Wars. Yeah.
Basically, that was
something like that.
Yeah.
So how do these two things
So this
get
is a separate
reconciled?
trilogy. So is this trilogy going to take the place of the saga films after the saga films are complete?
Right.
Or are after Han Solo are they like, all right, these one-offs are not working out. Here's a trilogy running beside, like parallel to a saga continuation. So after 9, are we going to get a 10, 11, 12 with Rey, Finn, Poe, and BB-8? Because apparently they're going to stick around. And then Rian Johnson has a separate trilogy. Is that just going to be every other year we have another trilogy film for one of the various trilogies that are in process?
I don't think they would take the ideas from the standalone films, which are just filling in gaps in the Skywalker saga, I think. Right?
Currently.
Yeah.
What, the standalone films?
Yeah.
Kind of. I mean, all we have is Skywalker saga, Star Wars film-wise.
Yeah.
So Rogue One filled in a gap. Han Solo's filling in a character backstory gap.
Right. Let's say they do an Obi-Wan film that would also fill in gaps there.
Yeah.
I think that's what those movies are for. This saga, I think. See, I want to say it's just the new characters.
But it said with new characters in a corner of the galaxy that's never been explored before.
Right. This whole corner of the galaxy.
So this is something completely separate.
Yeah, so what does that mean?
So is this what I was talking about when we discussed this last episode, where do you think I think they will take a break after 9. If there is going to be a continuation,
right, we talked about how
saga,
there probably
if there is going to be a 10, 11, and 12, there will probably be a break.
Yeah.
Does this trilogy fill that break? After 9 is a Ryan's trilogy, and then maybe later there will be an announcement about a 10, 11, and 12 that might be the continuation of Rey, Finn, and Poe's story. Because they really need to figure, because they probably have no idea what that story would even be at this point. But if they want to keep those characters around, they would need to figure that out. Will there be a 6-year break between 9 and 10 with this trilogy taking place between it? Because I would say yes. And I still think there would be one-offs while that's running.
All right, so they mentioned specifically after 2020, these movies starting. Episode 9 comes out December of 2019. So it sounds like...
So Ryan's film starting in 2020.
Well, it says sometime after 2020.
Starting in 2020, maybe?
So, yeah, so no, it says the movies will... well, I guess it's just this article. This article is saying the movies will likely come out sometime after 2020, which who knows?
Yes.
I guess there's no date in the quote.
So
they're just guessing there.
My guess is that after 9, there's will be a break. An episode saga break. This trilogy taking the place, and then possibly later an announcement of a 10, 11, and 12. With Rey, Finn, and Poe being much older and whatever new things come out of the sky and destroying the galaxy.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know.
Because I think they still want to have, they've had such great luck with the one-offs that I wonder if they're going to keep doing them. They
Oh
haven't
yeah,
said,
I think there's enough. I mean,
obviously there's enough stories to tell to have them.
think about just for yourself. Wouldn't you want more?
I'm saying I
of
want
those
them, but they've had
stories?
so much trouble with them. I wonder. Like I said, I think that there will still be one-offs with this saga taking the place of the gap between 9 and possible 10.
Yeah,
With there being a new Ryan Johnson saga about whatever the heck it's going to be about, and
Yeah.
then one-offs be happening between that, and then maybe having a 10, 11, and 12 with obviously all the actors are going to be 6 years older or more than 6 years older,
Yeah.
and whatever's happening to them, Leia, Luke, Han, all the old people are out of the picture. This is fully their saga now.
I'm wondering.
Will it
if-
even be a 10, 11, and 12? Will 9 end the Skywalker saga, and thus there will not be a Star Wars as episodes continuing after 9?
9 is definitely going to end the Skywalker saga. Yes.
But will it end the numbering of the Star Wars saga?
Oh, I have no idea. I mean, you'd think, like you said, all we've had is the Skywalker saga so far. So
Yes.
I would think that numbering, would be over.
Unless someone in the film is a Skywalker, which, God forbid.
Go figure. I mean,
Ben is technically half Skywalker. But Kylo wasn't named in Kathleen's quote, so
No, he wasn't.
Screw him.
I mean, going back to what you said about
Ryan's saga running with one-offs in between. That
yeah
flow continuing.
So yes, they've had trouble so far, but I think there's enough demand for those movies. That's why I was saying think about what you would want. I think there's enough demand for those movies that they're gonna keep doing them. I think my guess is they're waiting to see how Han Solo does before they announce any other ones.
That's something I found interesting as well. This was Disney's quarterly financial update call where they announce things and say how things have been going.
Right.
And they announced a TV show coming, which that's been a long time coming. I think that needed to happen at some point.
Yep.
And they announced a new trilogy. However,
nothing about standalone movies.
However, we have Last Jedi, Han Solo, Episode 9, and then there should be another standalone probably.
If they kept that same
that
schedule,
wasn't even announced. They went ahead and announced a trilogy that's happening probably out in 2020. So what happens in 2019?
Yeah. So what happens in 2020?
No.
2019 is when Episode 9 comes out. December 20th, 2019 is the date that's been announced. That's 2 years from now. I mean, we're gonna have
sucks.
We're gonna have
Han Solo 6 months after The Last Jedi, and then nothing for
a
year and a half.
A year and a half. Yeah, I guess.
That's
I mean,
because usually we would have Han Solo at the end of the year, so we only have a year until the next Star Wars film.
How many years do we have after Episode 3 until this?
How many years do we as people have, Michael?
Left on this earth?
Pump them out.
2020. You can make it till 2020. I think.
So if 2019, December 2019, Episode 9 comes out, that would mean that summer 2020.
I would think nothing. I would think
standalone.
Nothing is going to come out in 2020. That's my guess.
No standalone.
That's my guess. Unless they're going to start working on 2 Star Wars movies at the same time, which I guess they were doing with
they've been doing
Last Jedi and Han Solo.
So
they didn't do that with
what I'm
Rogue
trying
One.
to think of. They announced this giant thing of we've got a new trilogy coming under Ryan Johnson, which I'm ecstatic about because Ryan Johnson is amazing. But they went ahead and pumped that out without saying anything about any more standalones, which would technically be the next thing in line.
Right. And there was that rumor that was going around that there were late stage talks happening about the Obi-Wan movie.
Yes, they've had directors in discussing things and treatments.
Right. Which that makes me think, because that all kind of just dropped off and died.
Maybe
that makes me think
so much trouble with Han Solo, and they've had to focus on bringing that together.
I think they're waiting to see maybe how that does, the first week or something. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe
to see how that does before they do anything, before they announce anything else.
I think it was interesting that wasn't brought up at all.
Yeah,
because that would, to me, that would have been logically the next thing Like, here's the next thing we're making that's going to bring us money. But instead, they're like, here's the next thing that's going to bring us a shitload of money because it's a whole new trilogy with Rian Johnson.
Right.
Maybe they're trying to, and I think they're definitely having to deflect some too with the trouble they've had with Han Solo, and be like, we're under control. We've got this. There's a new trilogy coming. What's Han Solo? I assume they're having to deflect some, be like, especially since they're talking to the investors, they have to be like, here's a big thing that's going to make us a lot of money.
Yeah.
We'll make something else in between. Just don't worry about it.
Do you think
Yeah.
that...
Yes, I do.
Okay. Do you think they're releasing Han Solo in the summer because they don't think it's going to do as well?
But it's always been slated for the summer, which never made sense to me when they've...
Even before...
I mean, I guess every other one is every other film has gotten pushed back at some point.
Yeah.
And I don't know why they're releasing 2 Star Wars movies within 6 months of each other, because I feels like it's going to step on each other's toes.
Yeah.
For as long as The Force Awakens was in theaters, it is very possible that The Last Jedi will still be in a theater when Han Solo goes into a theater.
Maybe like the last,
like there's one
like
showing
the 3
at like
p.m.
2 p.m.
showings. Yeah. Those last theaters that are still just hanging on.
Yeah.
Like what was it?
It's
kind of
still
like that.
and it is still in a local theater at 3 p.m. in the afternoon. Who's watching it at 3 p.m. in the afternoon on a Wednesday? I don't know, but it's still there. Which I guess it's just made enough money that they can do that because it is fantastic. But I really still feel like Han Solo is just gonna or Last Jedi is gonna step all over Han Solo, because you're still gonna have that just came out and all the hype coming after that, and Han Solo's gonna be like, we got a trailer now. Look at this, guys. I know the lightsabers were cool, but we're still here.
Do you think they'll have a trailer opening up with Last Jedi?
So the rumor
we talked about this before with Rogue One.
There has been rumors that
Awakens.
we were going to get a Han Solo something in November. Which, knowing Disney, they could just drop it out of nowhere like they do in the dropping TV spots and dropping trailers.
Yeah.
With no announcement. Thanksgiving weekend would be a time for that to happen.
Maybe, yeah.
There have been rumors that we were finally going to get something Han Solo, a teaser at least, which probably won't even show anything. It'll probably just like show a vest hanging up on a hook and then like hear a Wookiee roar or something, knowing teasers. So if we get something in November, it'd probably be Thanksgiving weekend. If not, would they really put something for their next movie at the front of one of their biggest movies? Because God knows I would totally forget about that trailer by the time I finished watching The Last Jedi.
We talked about that with... Well, did we talk about that with Marvel movies and the Force Awakens trailer? What was coming out around that time?
I saw Thor.
Was it Civil War or something?
Well, just now I saw Thor, and the Last Jedi trailer was in front of it.
Really? Was it?
It was, yeah.
Huh, okay.
So, but would they put a Star Wars trailer in front of a Star Wars movie with the one Star Wars movie that you're watching being a bigger deal than the Star Wars movie that's coming out with that trailer? I don't know. Besides the point, but I think this gets me even more hyped for The Last Jedi. Rian Johnson was like done with the movie like 4 months before it needs to come out.
Right, we talked about that, how he's so satisfied with this.
He's so happy about what he made, and he said he would work on Star Wars again in a heartbeat, and then he didn't pick up 9, and we were like, what? Why didn't he? Which now we know why, because they were probably already discussing this.
Maybe.
And so everyone had such a damn good time making The Last Jedi that I'm excited about there being a new trilogy, but that's so far off. I can't even think about that right now. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be about something somewhere in Star Wars with people and places we don't know.
Yeah.
Which is going to be cool to have something, because we still don't have Star Wars movies that are new with new places and new stories. And I mean, Rogue One was new people, but it was about surrounding everything we already know.
Right.
This seems to be totally detached from all of that. And just something new in a place in Star Wars. Things are happening. It's a Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
Rian Johnson's going to make it, and he's an amazing director and writer. So now I'm even more pumped up for The Last Jedi to come out in, a month now? A little over a month. And if they've had such a good
A little
time
less
and
than a month.
he's so happy about it and all the actors have said it's so good and everything that keeps getting said about it is like everyone's like so excited and having so much fun making it.
Yeah.
And now they're like, oh, we trust him and have so much faith in him that we're going to give him a whole new trilogy.
Yeah.
That means The Last Jedi is going to be amazing.
It says a lot. Yeah.
Or it should be amazing, which everything I've seen looks amazing.
Yes.
So now we have
everything
to wait
we've seen, every quote from every person who has been in the movie or been attached to the movie in any way.
Yeah.
Quotes from Kathleen.
She is so happy with. I
Yeah.
mean, he obviously they've had trouble with directors, but I think Rian Johnson knows what he's doing working with her.
Yeah.
But I think he's also, from a filmmaker standpoint, I think he's also very much what Disney needs and wants out of a director.
Needs, I agree with. I don't know what you mean about wants.
Knowing what he wants and knowing what they want and actually producing it, and the fact that I think he
maybe.
Because
I think just as a filmmaker alone, he is
fantastic.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
But I think he's definitely someone you can trust your IP with, and they've found that, and now I've trusted him with further exploration.
Well, where's the proof of that? He's only done his own story so far, right?
For the most part, he did, like we talked about Breaking Bad, him doing 2 episodes in the final season of Breaking Bad.
Yeah, I guess so.
I
as far as franchise movies, he's never done anything like that before.
No, but I mean, it sounds like it's gone so well they've given him this other huge chunk, which means that The Last Jedi is exactly what they wanted, if not better than what they wanted.
Yeah.
Out of The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Which 1 month.
You saw his tweet about how he was saying, I hope you like The Last Jedi, but now I really hope you like The Last Jedi.
Oh, yeah.
Right after that news broke.
Yeah. Yeah, if Last Jedi is not, if everyone's like shitting on Last Jedi, then we've got 3 more of those to look forward to.
We was talking about that too, about how much it's so obvious how much he cares about this movie, particularly.
How precious he is about Star Wars in this movie.
Yeah.
It's
great.
something he very much cares about. It's not like he's just shooting a film for them.
Yeah.
Which JJ had fun, and JJ loves Star Wars. I know JJ loves Star Wars and he's a fan and he has fun, but it also, because I don't know, just his type of work, it just seemed like another director job.
Yes.
Like, I'm going to be pumped about this because it's Star Wars and I'm happy about this, but also this is my job. Whereas,
it was more of a, he's done so many big,
but he's done so many films that it almost feels like this is just in his wheelhouse and he's just doing his JJ thing.
Right, but not in I know what you mean. There is a distinction, but not in the way of like him being disrespectful about it, or not.
No.
It being lost on him what he was actually doing.
It's not as far as bringing in somebody to do a Han Solo film. They're like, I'm going to Instagram it all the time, and I'm so excited about making this Han Solo film, and I was really just brought in last minute, and I'm fixing this now, but I'm excited about Star Wars.
Like who?
I don't know who that could be.
I wonder.
But I mean, and obviously, I'm sure he cares about what he's making, but that is also very much, he was brought in to do a director job.
Right.
For a specific purpose of some other directors not doing their director job.
Yeah. As
was mandated by the studio. Whereas everything with Rian Johnson looks like he's just having so much fun.
Yeah.
Like a little kid making his dream come true.
Right.
And now he's getting to just make his own dream.
Yeah.
Not even within within any confines now. Well, there's still confines, but it's not the confines of having this saga that's gone on for 7 episodes, and you have to stick to these characters in this story and don't screw it up because we have another one coming out.
Well, see, but okay, yeah.
So now he gets to write something completely original with the story group in the Star Wars world that is purely Rian Johnson.
But see, that's what I can't figure out. Is this actually completely original, or like we were saying earlier, is this more of a, we're going to pull some inspiration from the EU?
I mean, that's where you have to think, it says it's going to be in a corner of the galaxy that's never been explored in Star Wars before.
Yeah.
Well, they killed the EU. It's no longer canon. It exists. Would they include that stuff as having stuff that's been explored?
That's what I'm saying.
Would the Old Republic, be something that has been explored to Disney? Or are they saying, what Old Republic? We've not discussed it yet.
I don't think
films.
I don't think they would do that.
No, I don't think so either. Especially since they've been pulling in stuff from the EU. And especially knowing the story group and Pablo and people like that, that stuff has been explored. And they're pulling stuff in from that for Rebels and Thrawn and all things like that.
Yeah, right.
That I think this is purely going to be something completely new and original. As far as it may be on a planet well, it says a corner of the galaxy that's never been explored. It may be a completely new planet, completely new people. The ships and animals and aliens.
You know what would really suck? If it was the planet that the new theme park is based on and they're making a saga to support the theme park.
Oh, yeah, because we discussed that last episode of it would make sense for the TV show to take place in that world.
Yeah.
But if the,
if the film crappy
trilogy that would be Star Wars Galaxy's Edge Part 1.
It's just a big tie-in for a stupid theme park.
I don't think Rian Johnson would agree to that.
That would be awful.
By any means. I do not think Rian Johnson.
So awful.
Ryan Johnson, I don't think would accept a paycheck just to do that.
I hope not.
Why'd you bring that up? Now that you brought that up, I completely forgot about last episode where I said the TV show would make total sense for it to be a tie-in to that world. Which it could be
a TV show. Okay, so I know we're at the end of the episode. Yeah. We already talked about this, but if it is more of a teeny after-school special kind of show, then sure, tie it in with your stupid theme park.
Not a whole trilogy film.
But if it is this gritty, dark, actually interesting Star Wars show that everybody wants, or at least that we want, no, please let this be something completely new.
I mean, it could be take whatever this planet is in Galaxy's Edge. It could take place there because apparently that's a place for smugglers and bounty hunters and all types of people to stop.
Look, I would be
Maybe
fine.
It is the Star Wars Cheers that we want, and there's a bar there, and people are just stopping in because it's an outpost. Maybe it's exactly what we want. Or maybe it just takes place on that planet, and it's the Millennium Falcon flies overhead at one point, and everyone's like, "Ooh!" And it's
See?
just
they all look at the camera. See?
Wink. Yeah. It could be a total tie-in TV show, which I think it could work as long as it's not like, that on the sleeve about it. Yeah. So, new trilogy, new TV show. Hopefully neither of them suck. Really excited for The Last Jedi.
Yes.
I think
every episode of this podcast now is just repeating stuff that we've already talked about.
Because we're like, all right, let's talk about this week. And then Disney the next week announces the thing we just talked about
right.
as now a real thing instead of us
just
It's
everything we say. We're like spot on for almost everything.
Someone important's listening. Or we're just that on the nose of Star Wars. We're right on the beat. We've got our finger on the pulse.
We deserve some kind of credit for that, right?
All the things we come up with and then Disney announces or talks about or it happens exactly as we described in the film.
Every time we say the internet is freaking out over nothing, then Disney goes and announces something that's like, yeah, you guys were freaking out over nothing.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, come on.
Well, maybe this episode they'll can that storyline for the Galaxy's Edge films.
Another thing that's not new for this episode, we still have no new iTunes reviews.
That's true. You
come on, people.
Bastards.
You know what I think it is? I think we've reached like peak saturation. I think everyone that listens to the show has already left a review.
It's possible. Then why do they listen to it 100 times?
We have no new listeners. That's the problem. I think we've been berating everyone that has already done what we've been asked.
So this week, instead of writing a review, grab a stranger, shake him by the shoulders, and tell him about the podcast.
Slap a
violently.
Sticker. We should sell our stickers or ship them to people or something.
Yes, you can actually go to TeePublic. You can go to HokeyReligion.com, and on the right-hand side, there are t-shirts. Along with the t-shirts, there are stickers. There's our Hokey Religion t-shirt. There's a new t-shirt we made about...
There's like coffee mugs and onesies and all kinds of weird stuff.
I didn't put everything on there. You can't buy a throw pillow, I don't think. If you want to, let me know. I'll list it.
I kind of want to do that, pillow. Actually. Because it's so bad.
Yeah, just make a bad throw pillow where it's like off-centered, run off the edge
super
of the front
blurry.
Of the pillow. Yeah. It's like the 100 DPI.
But we brought, I don't know, like 100 stickers with us when we went to Star Wars Celebration last.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that was this year.
Jeez,
it feels like last year. April. Right?
Yeah.
Man, it feels so long ago. Anyway, we brought a ton of those stickers with us, and they're really nice. I was actually impressed.
They are. Actually,
at how good they are.
I have forever stamps because I'm an adult. So if you want... some Hokey Religion stickers, email
or tweet, whatever.
Well, don't tweet your address because then lots of pervs will have
Well,
it.
it would lots of pervs like us.
Yes. Don't let us perv on you because we already do.
We're gonna send you stickers of our buttholes.
Oh. How did we get those to print? Email asklobot@hokireligion.com and let me know if you want a sticker and I will mail you.
Email at asklobot.
Email us at asklobot@hokireligion.com or Tyler at hokireligion.com if that's easier, Tyler.
Or Michael at hokireligion.com because that goes to the same inbox.
He doesn't check it.
Yes, I do.
Email us and tell me if you want stickers and I will mail you stickers to your address in an envelope. So do that. I will send you stickers.
How many? We gotta have a limit. Let's say like the
if
first
a ton
10
of people email us, everyone will get one.
Let's say the first 10 people. First 10 people to request.
Sure. The first 10 people to email asking for a sticker will get stickers.
We'll send you a sticker for free. We'll send you 2. So you have one.
I'll probably send you more than 2 because we've got a bunch of them printed.
Slap one on your.
So grab a stranger, shake them by the shoulders, slap the sticker on their mouth, and then point at it and say "you," and then walk away. Don't even let them know what just happened or why. They'll pull the sticker off. And they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I get it."
And then you've got an extra one to slap on your big old loose butthole.
What has buttholes done to you?
Huh?
What have buttholes done to you, Michael?
Mine hurts a little right now. I had Chipotle for lunch, and it's not agreeing with my butthole.
That makes sense. Yes. So email us if you want a sticker. Also, you can go to our website, hokireligion.com. Like we mentioned, the t-shirts, there's on the right-hand side. If you have not reviewed the podcast, please go to iTunes and do so. We will be on Spotify very soon. We were approved for that.
Yeah, that was...
And it's a pretty big deal.
That was great.
Because Spotify is still invite only. So we will be on Spotify pretty soon. If you search Star Wars and look at podcasts, there's only about 13 listed right now. So we will be one of those within the next week or two.
Woohoo.
And like I mentioned the email address earlier, asklobot@hokireligion.com if you have any questions or comments or nice winter chili recipes. Because I'm really hungry right now. And still on that cold medicine.
You know what I can't stand right now is anything spice related. Any kind of like holiday spice, cinnamon, nutmeg.
Pumpkin. Cinnamon, nutmeg.
None of that stuff.
Too soon?
It's just driving me crazy.
Just because it exists?
Just
Cinnamon's always out there. You realize that, right?
I'm just a menopausal woman.
Okay. Cinnamon's always always there. Cinnamon, it's always a spice.
That was a very reserved. Okay.
Fine. Whatever. Cinnamon and nutmeg don't leave after Christmas.
No, but people aren't throwing it, like dumping all over themselves when they leave from
when
work
you go
in the
into work,
morning.
is it like leaving a wedding and there's just nutmeg and cinnamon flying at you when you walk in the door?
Basically. Might as well be. Somebody has cinnamon hand lotion or something. Eggnog hand lotion that they're rubbing all over themselves.
It's not lotion, it's just eggnog.
It's old eggnog.
It's last year's eggnog.
To where it's already
it.
in a lotion form.
Yeah. You leave a bottle of eggnog open, next year's lotion. All right, this has been more than enough of an episode of Hokey Religion. This is Tyler.
This is Michael.
Goodbye.
Hokey Religion is an ancient word. Hokey Religion is an ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster at your side.